I've been here before. Over and over again, and each time the same question. Is this it? Will this time be the one? And each time the same answer. And I'm just so tired of it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Last week, we got the release of The Old Guard on Netflix, directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood and starring Charlize Theron. As this is still a new release, I'll do my best not to spoil anything, but no promises. You should just go and watch the movie. You won't regret it. First off, I think Charlize has really come into her own as an action star over the past few years. She was good in George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road, and absolutely killed it in Atomic Blonde, and she continues her streak in The Old Guard. In this movie, Charlize plays Andy, an immortal who has tried to save the world for hundreds, if not thousands of years, yet constantly finds the world simply refuses to be saved. She's resigned to just giving up on it, but is still unable to just let it burn, no matter how many times she tries to convince everybody and herself otherwise.
The world can burn for all I care.
The story follows her as she leads her team of undying mercenaries through being hunted and captured, while also having to take on a new recruit. Kiki Layne, who plays Niall, the newcomer to the group, was a great proxy for the audience. We learn everything at almost the exact moment that she does. It's often difficult to pull off the newcomer, especially the longer the core group has been together, but Layne does it flawlessly. This was a fun ride from the start. The opening action piece sets the tone for what this movie will be, and it's pretty awesome. The surprise twist was good, and the filmmakers did a great job of giving the character a solid reasoning for his actions. In fact, all of the main characters were well developed in both their histories and their current ideologies and worldview. That cliffhanger ending planted a great seed for the sequel, although I'd honestly be okay with this movie just being a one-off. It's a great story about a very specific point in time for our characters, and with so much of their backstory and past adventures still a mystery to the audience, I don't think there's any need to go further without a really compelling story, although there are still so many questions that I need answered. The fight sequences were fun to watch and did a great job of showing off the characters' knowledge and skills without going overboard with the fight choreography. Gunfights can sometimes feel a bit boring, but adding in some hand-to-hand combat as well as other weapons kept it interesting. It even showcased the skill of these characters without having to show all of the action, sometimes just opting to show us the aftermath. The movie did feel like it jumped locations frequently. But honestly, I can't be that mad though, because I know that there really isn't much for these characters to do in their downtime. However, the few breaks from the action we did get were well placed to allow the audience time to reset and learn even more about these characters and their stories. They were necessary calm points that didn't take any of the fun away from an action movie. On the contrary, they really added depth to these characters. But of course, not every movie can be perfect. And this movie's biggest flaw was its villain. He was quite generic. His motivation was uninspired, and his character just wasn't compelling at all. We only ever see him in one setting, and he plays virtually zero part in the core of this movie. He could have been cut, and the impact would not have been changed. That's because the real antagonist we spend most of the time with turns out to be nothing more than his hired help. But it's this character that has a much more compelling reasoning and storyline. I would have loved to have spent more time with him as he put all of the pieces together, especially because of how his story ends. We only get to see him from the outside perspectives of our main characters, who are, of course, being hunted by him. But he really had a lot of potential hiding just underneath the surface. It's only hinted at times, but I would have really loved to have seen and had that explored more in this story. All said, this was a fantastic movie. It's a good action flick, but I think where this movie really shined were the quieter moments. A lot of information is given to us through exposition, but it's done in a way that really draws the audience in. We learn a little bit here and a little bit there, One character will start the story, but another will finish it off. It's never monotonous and always engaging, even aided by the occasional flashback. It's in these quiet moments where we learn who our characters really are. Not just their character traits and relationships, but also how and what really shaped their psyche, leading to the actions they take throughout this movie. Gina Prince-Bythewood explained that she and the producers wanted for The Old Guard to not just feel like an action film, but more like an action drama. And I think they really delivered on that vision. I'd love to know what you guys think of this movie in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day, and don't forget to watch a great movie. Bye.
I don't suppose it would be possible to get these chains off of us.